Sound of a crackling fire, a ticking clock, and distant rain. All right, pull up a chair. Let's talk about the United Kingdom. Not just the landmarks and the royal family, but the real story. The one written in mud and iron and ink. How did this small, rainy island on the edge of Europe become a global powerhouse that, for a time, ruled a quarter of the world? Our story doesn't start with kings and queens. It starts with mist-shrouded hills and ancient peoples, the Celts. Imagine tribes with their own distinct cultures, speaking languages that would become Welsh, Scottish, Gaelic, and Irish. They built stone circles and hill forts, their lives guided by the seasons and the old gods. It was a rugged, mystical land. Then the Romans arrived. In 43 AD, Emperor Claudius decided he wanted a piece of this Britannia. It wasn't an easy fight. Think of Queen Boudica of the Iceni tribe, a warrior queen who burned Roman cities to the ground in a furious, bloody rebellion. The Romans eventually won, of course. They built walls like Hadrian's Wall, literally drawing a line on the map to say this far and no further. They brought roads, cities, underfloor heating, and Latin. For nearly 400 years, a part of Britain was Roman. But empires fall. As Rome crumbled, its legions packed up and left, leaving a massive power vacuum. And into that void came the Anglo-Saxons. Angles, Saxons, and Jutes from Germany and Denmark, sailing across the North Sea in longships. They were farmers and warriors, and they pushed the Romano-British West into what we now call Wales and Cornwall. This is where the idea of England, Angleland, is born. A patchwork of warring kingdoms, each with its own king, and it's during this time that the legends of King Arthur, the once and future king fighting the invaders, probably took root. Just when things started to settle, another wave of longships appeared on the horizon. This time the Vikings. For over a century, they raided, pillaged, and terrified the Anglo-Saxons. They sacked monasteries and held entire kingdoms to ransom, but they also settled, becoming farmers and traders, leaving their mark on the language and the land, especially in the north, in an area called the Danelaw. It took one man, Alfred the Great, King of Wessex, to finally halt their advance and lay the groundwork for a unified English kingdom. But the biggest shakeup was yet to come. 1066, the year every British school kid knows. The King of England died without an heir, and 3 men claimed the throne. A Viking king, an English earl, and a French duke, William the Conqueror. After a brutal battle at Hastings, William, the Norman duke, won. This wasn't just a new king, it was a total regime change. The English ruling class was wiped out, replaced by French-speaking Norman lords. They built imposing stone castles everywhere, a constant stony reminder of who was now in charge. This is why the English language is so weird. A mix of humble Anglo-Saxon words for things like cow and pig, and fancy French Norman words for what you eat, beef and pork. And from this messy, violent, and fascinating collision of Celts, Romans, Anglo-Saxons, Vikings, and Normans, the modern United Kingdom slowly began to take shape. A story not of one people, but of many, forged in conflict and compromise on a small island that would go on to have a very, very big history.